So when a student submits an official transcript request, if your college has allowed them to have the option to choose a weighting for degrees, this video is going to explain that process to you a little bit. I will say that I find this one to be a tad bit complicated. And it's going to take a little more work. Even though the orders are going to automatically start moving on their own once degrees are awarded, it's the ones in which the degrees are not awarded or cannot be awarded that are going to become a little problematic for you. So when a student is submitting a request, if they choose after degree is awarded as their option of processing, then they have to select a degree. Now, the only degrees that will display for the student to select are the ones that is the active degree on the person's Max Sebastian record or SFREGS record, and it hasn't been awarded on SHA degree already. So if the degree has already been awarded on SHA degree, the person cannot select it here. They only can select their active program. And you all know we have, most colleges only allow one active program. Some allow up to 2 active programs on a student's record. So they can only select the programs attached to their record, and it has to be the active one. And I keep saying that because sometimes you'll have a record where people will look at the audit trail and they will think that those are all active just because it says it's active. So let me just show you that for a little bit. So I'm going to go to Sebastian and SFREGS. And note, Sebastian and SFREGS, the curriculum's the same, but sometimes people say SFREGS because if once the student's registered, you can only change curriculum on SFREGS. But SFREGS and Sebastian, the table that stores the curriculum data, is the same. So you see right here where it has the view current active curricula. If I would select that, it would only show me the active curricula on the student's record. I'm not going to select it this time. I'm just going to select go so that you can see the audit trail. And this confuses people still. So if you select curricula once you're on Sebastian, it's going to show you all of the curricula attached to the student's record. So you're going to see 1 of 9. If you look right here, it says 1 of 9. Now, this one says it's my active curriculum, but if I scroll over, it'll say inactive. But watch, if I scroll again, it says active. That doesn't mean this one is active. It means at one point this one was active, and it gets confusing when you're looking at the audit trail because it will go from inactive to active, inactive to active. Typically, the one that shows up right when you select, right when you access it, that's the one that's the active one because you'll see it says active. It also has the current indicator selected. Now I'm going to go ahead and start over, and I'm going to select the view current active because this actually just narrows it down and only shows you the active curricula on a person's record. So when I select go and I select the curricula tab, you will see now it's just 1 of 1 because it's only going to show you the active. Now remember, some colleges do allow a student to have up to 2 active curriculum. And if your college does that, your registrar would be the person to tell you that. Most of the colleges I've noticed only allow the 1, but some will make exceptions and allow a student to have 2 active curriculums at the same time. So if I was submitting an official transcript request and I chose to award after degrees, then the only program that would show for me to select would be this pre-TD practical nursing. It's the only one that would show because only the active curriculum would show. Now, if I was already awarded this degree on SHA degree, then nothing would show because they cannot select to have a transcript release after a degree is awarded if the degree has already been awarded. And that's the beauty of the e-transcript process because it's talking to Banner while the person's submitting the request. So when the person says, I want to award after degrees, then it talks to Banner and says, what degrees does the student or programs does this student have in which they can select? Then it pulls that list in. So if it goes to Banner and says, which one does this person have that they can select, but it has only one active program on their SAGASTRN record, and that one has already been awarded, no option will come back for the student to select. So I said, no, once a degree is updated on SHA degree as awarded, the degree will be removed from the student's option for hold for degrees. However, see, there's a caveat here. So I just went through the full thing that it won't pull the program if it exists on SHA degree and it's been awarded. But then I say, however, if a student has two SHA degree records for the same program, and one has the outcome status of NO and the other AW, the program will still be an option for the student to request hold for degree. Because of that SHA degree record, where the program matches the program on the SAGASTRN record, but the status is NO, that person will still be able to select it. So this means that y'all need to clean up those NOs. At the end of a graduation cycle, and you determine a student did not graduate because they were not eligible, those NO, the records that have the NO status, they need to be deleted from SHA degree, because the only thing that should be on SHA degree are actually degrees that are awarded. You update them to NO so that you can notify the student they're not eligible, but then eventually you have to record remove them. You have to delete them from SHA degree, because it'll cause other issues as well. But this is just one of the issues, and this is the issue I'm talking about at this time. So the program will still be an option to request for hold for degree. In order for the process to complete the request, the no-show SHA degree record would have to be updated to AW. So right here, I said student would not be able to request an AD order for a program AS paralegal studies because she has already been awarded this degree. So this would be a good option. But if the person would have two records on SHA degree with the AAS paralegal studies, and one would have NO in the outcome status or anything other than, AWTC or CE, anything other than awarding, then that one would be a problem. It would come up on the request form, and the student would be able to choose it as a degree that they're waiting to get their official transcripts until. And yes, I have seen this happen in the 2 years we've been using eTranscript. 3 things must happen for AD orders to process. So the awards degree release date must be in the past. Now, it's important that you look at this, because the process, I know this seems very strange, because it was strange to me when they told me this, but the process is looking at the graduation term on the person's max SAGASTRN record, on the academic graduation status and dual degree tab in the graduation status block graduation term field. So when the order comes in, the release date is not looking at the term attached to the SHA degree record, because the SHA degree record may not be even created yet. So what it's looking at is it's looking for the expected graduation date. So it's not looking at SHA degree. It's looking at the student SAGASTRN record. It's looking at this term right here. And then it's pulling the release date and attaching it to the order. And yes, the release date is attached to the order as soon as the order comes in. So the order comes in, the person says, I want to wait for my degree to be awarded. They select the degree, and then Banner goes and takes this term, the term on the SAGASTRN record, as the expected graduation term. And then from that term, it goes to SHRTETC to get the release date. So I'm now going to go to SHRTETC. And I'm going to select the hold for degrees or grades. And then it looks for the release date here. So that record had 2020-10, I think, but we're just going to assume it did. So I'm going to say 2010, and I'm going to select go. So the release date is December 13th, 2017. So this date, as soon as that order comes into Banner, the release date of December 13, 2017 is the one that's going to attach to the record. So I'm going to clear this filter. And yes, I bounced around a bit because I'm still learning this myself. I'm just going to go back in. And that's why it's important. Like you'll notice, look at all these hold for degree terms. Every term since we started in Banner 2013-10, every term from 2013-10 that exists on STV term needs to exist on this form. So every single term, even these little mini terms, every term in which you accept an application or you enter an application in Banner, you need to have on here because those are terms that we're inserting onto the student's record as the expected graduation date. And let me change that. Actually, these little mini terms don't have to be on here. It's the max terms like fall, spring, and summer. Because when we're entering an expected graduation date, we're only using fall, spring, or summer terms as their expected graduation date. But every single one of them needs to exist, and they have to have a release date. Now, you'll notice I looked at 2010 and the release date was in the past, and that's because some colleges have just decided to leave those in the past because there's other things that have to happen to release it, and the best thing to do is just have this in the past. The release date has to be in the past because the order will not process until the day after the release date. And colleges have just found that this particular release date can be very problematic. So the AD request will attempt to process the day after the date entered in the release date field. An end user sets the rule for when the AD request for a term can be processed on SHRT-ETC, and I just showed you that. If no rule was created for the transcript request term, then the end date on STV term would be used as the release date. So let me show you how this can be problematic. So let's say your college forgot to add the term here and put a release date. And an order came in with the term of, and the person had the expected graduation date of 2020-10. So let's go to STV term, and let's look at what the release date would be if you forget to put the release date on SHRT-ETC. So I'm going to filter for 2020-10. And I'm going to select go. And you will see the end date would be December 3rd, 2019. So that person's request would come in. They would be expecting to get their official transcript at the end of the 2019-10 term, because let's say that's when they submitted the request. That's when they actually earned the degree. But because you didn't have a release date on SHRT-ETC, it would pull this as a release date. So then you would be saying, well, why is this one not getting released? So that's why that release date is so important. And once again, it's just best to leave that in the past because this is one of the ways the order gets released. There's 3 things that has to happen, and this is only one of them. The next thing is the program on the student Sebastian Safarek's record at the time they submitted their request must get awarded on child degree in order for the request to be released. So this can be problematic because when you look at Chatour and you're looking at the degree, all you see is this number with the program code. And you cannot see this number anywhere else in Banner. But what that number is doing is it's attaching it to the person's active Sebastian program that they selected at the time they submitted the request. But you don't see this number. So why they did it that way, I'm not real sure. I can see it if I run SQL in the background, but you can't. So it's important that the Sebastian record is the actual program that you're awarding. And if it's not, then this request will never get released because the program is attached to the request and the request will not process until that program is awarded. You can see the program attached to the request on Chautauqua Receipt Order Information tab, Order Information block. I'm showing you where I pulled this screenshot from. As you can see in the screenshot below, there's a number in the degree field with the program code. This is the sequence number attached to the program. You can't see the sequence number on any form and banner. However, the sequence number is extremely important. The sequence number is attached to the program major campus curriculum rule combination. So the request, for the request to release the exact program major campus curriculum rule attached to the sequence number must be awarded on SHA degree with outcome status that equals awarded. So I know this isn't going to match what I'm going to show you because I can't show you real people's data in Banner, and that's why it's a little hard to do these videos. But I'm just going to go back to my record, which is not a real record, but it helps you to see. So when I submitted my request, I selected the curriculum on my record, and I said, I want this official transcript request to be released after this degree is awarded. So what Banner is looking for, I have to scroll down a bit, is it's looking for the program PRE-PNUR with the campus LA and the major of PNUR to be awarded. So if this combination is not awarded on SHA degree, and an award means outcome status of AWTC or CE, if this program does not exist on SHA degree with this combination, PNUR is my major, LA is my campus, and my program is pre-PNUR, then the order will not get released. So let's say you go to SHA degree and I have PRE, PNUR with the campus LB with the major PNUR, it will not release because that's not the right combination. It has to be the correct combination. The third thing that has to happen is the graduation date entered in the graduation date field on SHA degree must be a date in the past. So I went to SHA degree and I just got a snapshot of the part where it has the graduation date field. So this date has to be in the past. This is another thing that people get really confused. So they award the degree on 12/3/2007. They're expecting that official transcript to process that date. It will not. It will process on the next date. And it will only process if the other two things are correct as well. Meaning the degree was a match. It was the actual degree that was selected when the order was submitted. And the release date on SHRTETC is in the past. And the graduation date is in the past. So those three things have to happen, have to be true for the order to be released. And if they're not, the order will not be released. Now, let me show you what the order looks like in the cloud. I want to show you that the release date is attached as soon as the order comes in. So I logged into the cloud, and everybody has access to the cloud, or not everybody. The person who set up eTranscript at your college has access to the cloud. So that you can go in and look at orders. You can update orders if needed. Not something you typically want to do because it has to be done one order at a time. But if you do make a mistake and the order isn't being released because of the release date, then you can come and update that in here. So I just came in and I just queried for all orders at AD because I want to show you where the release date is attached, because people get confused and they're like, oh, well, wait, I forgot my release date. Let me go to SHRTETC and put it. Well, all the orders that came in before you put the release date have the wrong release date because it's attached as soon as that order comes in. So if you select the order, and I'm going to scroll down a little bit, you'll see we call it a release date in Banner, but in the cloud, they called it the delay date. So you'll see the delay date is right here. So as soon as the order comes in, the release date / delay date is attached to that order. So changing it on SHRTETC will not fix any orders that came in before you added it or changed it on SHRTETC. Now, if you do have an order that's stuck because of that, you can update it. You can select edit delay date, and you can change it. But this is the thing you need to remember. When you do that, it won't let you put today's date. It won't let you put yesterday's date. You have to put tomorrow's date. And then that means it won't release until after tomorrow. So then it will still be 2 days before this request actually releases. And that's why it's so important that you have those dates on SHRT-ETC and they're realistic release dates, because they will affect your orders. So I just want to show you that really quick. That date does attach to that order as soon as it comes in. Go ahead and sign out of this. Okay. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk to you about is examples of AD orders that will not process and why, because I have seen this since we've been using eTranscript. So the first example, I've already went through this, and I'm going to go through it again because I really want to make sure you understand that if the program major campus curriculum rule combination on the student's Sebastian or Sephora's record does not match the one that was awarded, it will not get released. So I just took a screenshot of a person's Sebastian record, and they had AAS PRLG with a campus of BA with the major of PRLG. But when I looked at their SHA degree record, they had CGS, CTGS, BA, and a major CTGS. So this person's request won't get released because when they selected awarded for degree, they chose this program. But when degrees were awarded at the end of the term, this is the degree that was awarded. So that request will not get processed. It will just sit out there and will not process. The next thing is programs that selected is not an awardable program. So I have orders. This is an example of an order that came through and the person selected waiting for awarding for degree, and they selected the degree of non-degree. Okay, that is not a degree that's awarded. Just like the example on my record was pre-nursing, that is not a degree that's awarded. So these will never release because you're not going to award a non-degree. And then the last one is the person didn't graduate from program selected. So that just means the person selected, I'm waiting for the degree to be awarded. They didn't graduate that semester, so it wasn't awarded. So what you have to do is you have to figure out what I'm going to do with these orders. So what we did was I worked with the Cognos person and I created a burst report called eTranscript AD Not Processed. And I figured out, I think I do it a couple of weeks after the semester ends, because I figure by that point you've entered your degrees that are being awarded for that term. So you'll get a burst report telling you, okay, you have some AD orders that are not going to process. And you're then going to have to look at those orders and make some decisions. Now, remember, a person doesn't get charged for a transcript request until we actually process it. So if we cancel an order, the person's not charged. When it comes in and it's updated to AD, they're not charged. They're not charged until we fully process the order. So you have some options. You can cancel the orders, or you could leave the order out there. So let's just talk about our 3 options, okay? So if this is the case and the person was awarded a different degree than they selected, I personally would probably formulate an email that I would send to this population before I would cancel it, because eTranscript has emails that go out, but it's just going to tell them their order was canceled. It's not going to tell them why. So I may formulate an internal email that I would send out to this group of people, and the burst report you get has the person's email address on it, or person's email address on it. And I may email them and just say, I'm canceling your order because you selected awarded for degree, but the degree that was awarded at the end of the term was not the actual degree you selected. So if you still need an official transcript, please submit a new request. And I would cancel these. Now that's my option. That's my choice of what I would do. For the program they selected is not an awardable program, I would do the same thing. My verbiage would be a little different, saying you selected a degree that's not awardable or whatever, however you want to word it. And then I would cancel these orders and I would tell the person to submit a new request. For number 3, this one you really have an option. You could just leave it out there because they may graduate the next semester and then it would get released at that point. Or you could choose to cancel these as well and say the degree you selected, you did not get awarded this semester. Please submit a new request. Because if they're needing a transcript, but they were like, oh, I'm just going to wait till after my degree was awarded, but they need it for something right away, they need to be alerted. Okay, you're not going to get this transcript because you didn't get the degree you selected as you're waiting for it to be awarded. So when you get the burst report, you have options, but you do need to look at these and decide how you're going to process them.